Perfecto. Okay, so let's get it rolling. So today, guys, is our strength and movement. And just before we get started, we just need something that we're going to put on top of our palm. Today, we're going to kind of do some shoulder prep work in the form of teacups and leg balance and things like that, okay? So just as an idea, I'm just going to use my journal, okay? So just a book or something like that is totally fine. If you actually are drinking tea, you can try it with tea if you want. But before we get started, okay, let's just kind of take a head to toe check. Okay, we'll just kind of do a very, very simple, straightforward gen mob work first. So starting with the head, hands are down. We're going to tuck our chin onto the chest and start to look up. So nice and simple, nothing too crazy. If this feels good, let's go straight into no, which is going to be looking side to side, trying to get that chin over past the shoulders. Remember, nothing's kind of really moving below the neck. Try to keep your eyes open for this one. And then the last one is okay. So ear to the shoulder, just side to side. And again, with this one, just be mindful. You can, if you want to get a little bit more out of it, whichever side you go towards, the opposite shoulder can reach down to the ground a little bit more. Okay, so you lengthen the opposite side to the lean. Okay, so from here, what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to do cat-cow, but rather than the normal kind of, just straightforward up and down motion. Okay, so just a little reminder, normal cat-cow is, hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. We normally kind of take a breath in, make ourselves as big as possible, then slowly sink down. Now, obviously, this is still available to you, but what we're going to do is nice and straightforward, 90 seconds. So it's not a small amount of time. It's a decent amount of time for us to start to explore different positions for the spine, okay? So, sometimes we refer to this as sexy cat-cow. I don't know how sexy it is, but, okay, what I want you to think about here is, we can still kind of get big and small, but we can start to throw and move the spine in whatever direction you want to. The only thing I'm going to say to you is trying to keep the elbows locked. And you can even kind of fall back and to the side kind of thing, leaning into the corner. So you start to kind of twist, okay? One suggestion would be, whichever direction you choose to go, see if you can reverse engineer that, okay? So, if you choose to go one particular way, see if you can come back that way and then go into the other side. Let's see what comes out of it, okay? For a minute and a half, okay? This is up to you. You have the freedom to do what you need to. Okay, here we go. Time starts. Okay, one suggestion is definitely taking it slow. So, this is timed, so we don't need to rush. Still trying to marry the breath. So you're still connected to the breath. Last few moves. And then a rest. Okay, so from here, we'll go into threading the needle. And again, we'll take a slight different variation to what we normally do as part of our gen mob, okay? So again, as a reminder, we generally throw our arms under the opposite armpit, rotate, okay? And as we do this, we talk about trying to make sure we draw the belly button to the back of the spine and try limiting the movement from the lower back as much as possible. So normally my shoulder doesn't even touch the ground, right? What we'll do today is we'll allow ourselves to do the same thing, but we're going to try and kind of land the shoulders onto the ground. Okay, rest the head onto the ground as well. And then we're going to pick the hand in front of our face. And we're going to try either get the elbows to come to the ceiling or the hands to the ceiling. So one more time from this direction, we're going to try to do the same thing, falling forward, reaching as far forward with this hand, head rests, and slowly trying to turn the thoracic, trying to squeeze the shoulder blades, and then reaching up to the ceiling. Okay, let's kind of get 2 to 3 per side. Okay, here we go. Nice and simple, nothing too crazy. Don't rush it. Reach as far as possible first. Then when you start to rotate, think about the upper back rotating, right? As opposed to just twisting of the lower back. Once you're done, just simply place your hands in front of your face and then start that process on the other side. Still connected to the breath though. Okay, keep it going. Let's get one more in there per side. Nice. Okay, once you're done, just simply sitting back onto your heels. So I know you guys are done. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to get into here, guys, is simply just kind of into the wrist a little bit. And this morning, what we'll do is we'll go into a little bit of strength work after the gym mob, straight into it. Okay, so let's start with the fingers pointed back towards our knees to start off with. And what we're going to do is we're going to just simply rock forwards and backwards. Okay, so think about everything that we do from here for a little while is all about just rocking. Okay, so these are wrist rocks. But we want to rock our wrists, okay, in different positions. So at the moment, fingers are back towards the knees. We'll from here simply turn them outside and start to rock side to side. Okay, from the side to side position, the next thing would be fingers pointing straight ahead, if not slightly turned out. And then we're going to rock forwards and backwards. You guys should be aware that we need to have the elbows locked out and the shoulders protracted, okay, or shoulder blades spreading. From there, the next position is going to be fingers turned in towards the knees again, but in this slight internal rotation position. Okay, so again, be mindful. Hands are still about shoulder width apart and doing your best. Okay, so again, try to create as much space in the shoulder joints by pushing the ground away. So ears are nowhere near the shoulders. Okay, so one more time, let's do that all over again. So we're going to have the fingers pointing back towards the knees. Let's walk them back. Okay, we'll just kind of rock for 4 to 5 forwards and backwards. Hopefully we can load it up a little bit more, meaning you can probably walk your knees back a little bit further. Once you've done 4 to 5, turn your hands to the side, push the world away, and again, rocking side to side. Maybe this time it's a little bit bigger lean to the sides. Fingers are spread and grabbing the ground, so you got nice contact with the ground. Again, after 4 to 5 per side, let's kind of face the fingers forward. Okay, pushing the ground away. And again, we're going to rock forwards and backwards. And then that last position in this rocks is going to be boom, fingers turned in. Notice my elbows can bend just to get into the position, but then when I set up, push the world away, everything's locked out. And I'm just going to rock forwards and backwards. Okay, so from here, we're going to go into back of the palms. Okay, so remember, if this is too much, you can have your hands fairly close to your thighs, maybe even outside. So there's little to no load in the wrist. But if you can take it, and you have been working on this for a little while, hands slightly in front of you, and we're just going to push the world away. Now, as we rock forwards, this is pretty straightforward. Everybody should be happy here. As we sit back and close the joints up, that's when the discomfort starts. So just be mindful. But otherwise, let's kind of rock forwards and backwards initially. And then pausing in that, okay, closed position, we're gonna squeeze those fingers as hard as possible for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Big release, the big squeeze again for 5, 4, 3, 2, 2. Release, big squeeze, last one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release, and then back it off. Shake it off, let's get blood back in there. Okay, so 2 things that I really want to do, okay, for the wrist strength work. And this is also kind of like a good test for you guys to kind of see where you're at, you know, with our first knuckle push-ups or heel raises. Now, remember the intention behind this is to load the back of the knuckles. So, you know, front of the knuckles, as everybody knows, is like, you know, where you punch. So back of the knuckles is basically that opposite side. We still want that to be in contact with the ground. So from sideways or front 45, we have our fingers spread. And what happens here is we push the ground away. We want to make sure the shoulder is somewhere over the wrist, if not slightly actually ahead. That's what's going to load the wrist up, right? Now, if this is too much, you can sit back and do the same thing. This becomes a little bit easier, but this position is going to be better for you, okay? Now, from here, we're going to push the wall away, peel the thumbs up, and then we're going to raise the heels up. And your intention is to, you know, this peace sign, everybody knows what a peace sign is. That does the index in the middle, okay, finger, the back of the knuckle, that's where you want most of the weight to be at to start off with. Okay, so heels are up at the moment, so make sure you're here. And then we're going to come down for the count of 3, then we're going to come back up. So here we go, 3, 2, 1, come back up, boom. 3, 2, 2, 3, 2, 3, 3, 2, 4, 3, 2, 5. Let's keep it going. Make sure it's a straight up and down movement, not a forwards and backwards movement. Okay, this is 7, 3, 2, 8, 3, 2, 9, 3, 2, 10. Stay up there. You're going to slowly roll to the outside and then come back to inside. Roll onto the outside, come back onto the inside. Make sure the elbows are locked. Keep it going for a couple more reps. And then when you're ready, back it off, shake it off. Okay, so those are kind of fingers a little bit. From here, we're going to look at, you know, our wrists obviously can do this. Everybody knows that. The other thing it can do is this, okay, or this. So we're going to go to our wrist rocks. And for this, we're going to have those knuckles, okay, down onto the ground like so. Now, the big idea with this, guys, is, again, we want to make sure at both points, our ears are nowhere near the shoulder. So we're, again, creating space. We're pushing the world away. Now, the first movement is pretty straightforward. We're going to lean forward as we do. The pinky comes up, and most of it is loaded on the index, okay, in front of the thumb region. So you're going to feel this more on the outside of your wrists, okay? Now, from there, we're going to come back onto the knuckles, and this is the tricky part. We're going to bend the elbows back, but the shoulders come forward, okay? And I pick my wrist up as well, as much as possible. I'm going to come back up and then start that process again. Nice and simple. And you want to make sure you don't rush it. You're slow, gradual with it. Okay, so you are effectively rolling on your fist, on the thumb side when you lean forward, and on your pinky side as you come back and down. Notice my shoulders are still ahead of my wrist, even when I come back. So even though my elbows come back, I'm actually falling forward, okay? As opposed to sitting back, because there's little to no weight now on the wrist. Let's do a couple more. Last one. Okay. So from there, pretty straightforward. One knee up, one knee down. Let's go into our runner's lunge. Tuck the balls of our feet, lift the back knee up. We're going to rock forwards and backwards initially. Find the halfway point, lift the back knee up. We're going to drop the front elbow down to the ground for 3, 2, 1. Here we go. We're going to rotate and reach up for 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Drop, rotate, 3, 2, 2. Drop, rotate, 3, 2, 3. Drop, rotate, 3, 2, 4. Drop, rotate, 3, 2, 5. And then back knee comes down. Let's go to the other side. One knee up, one knee down. Hands in line with the front feet. Pop the back knee off. Rocking forwards and backwards. Hold it still. Hug the front knee. Drop the elbows just for 3, 2, 1. And here we go. We're going to rotate, then reach to the ceiling. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Drop, rotate, and reach for 3, 2, 2. Drop, rotate, reach. 3, 2, 3. Drop, rotate, reach. 3, 2, 4. Drop, rotate, reach. 3, 2, boom, and down. From here, guys, simply just one last one. We're just going to be onto our back. Let's go into our glute raises. Screw my mic up there. Okay, so from here, hands onto the ground, tuck the bum first so the lower back is hitting the ground. Push through the heels. You can have your toes up if you want to. Let's bring the hips up using your butt and kiss the ground. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Boom, and rest. Okay, so from here, we're just gonna kind of get the whole body. I think my mic is okay. I'm just gonna move my mic, so let me know if you can't hear me clearly. We're going to need that journal or a teacup, as we talked about at the start. We're gonna go into our teacups, okay? Now remember with this, the intention is, again, control. We're trying to create smooth movements at the shoulders. We're gonna get the spine integrated a little bit. And we're gonna, effectively do this in one leg, so that way we are working on a single leg stability as well. So there's basically a lot of things happening, okay? So again, the idea is not to rush through things. We'll layer it up so we understand what we're doing, okay? So if everybody has their apparatus, okay, let's have one palm face up. That stuff goes on top of that palm. Our objective is to make sure our palm is always facing up to the ceiling, no matter, where it is in space, okay? So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna bring the arm in, take it out. Notice the palm is still faced up. My elbows are locked out at this point. Now I'm gonna bend my elbows. I'm gonna come back behind me. Palms are still faced up, and boom. Okay, come back to that starting position. So one more time, let's say nice and simple, okay? Circular motion. And we're just gonna kind of play with this, okay, for 30 seconds or so. Okay, just kind of, familiarize yourself here. And notice that I'm allowing my spine to move in any way it needs to for me to achieve or execute this task, okay, of rotating at the shoulders while keeping the wrist face up to the ceiling. So again, there isn't a right or wrong. At all times, do think about creating space in the shoulders. So I talk about that a lot. What I effectively mean is no one should feel this pinching sensation or pain in the shoulders, okay? Now, of course, if you have restricted shoulders, you may need to go a little bit slower, and you may need to, move your spine a lot more. Again, that's okay though. All right, let's take that to the other side, and let's just see how coordinated the other side is. Same thing, okay, comes in front of us, behind us, in front, and then boom, to the starting position. And at the moment, we, again, on both legs, we're just trying to figure out, can we do this at the shoulders? What's the coordination like? So we've got our wrist, our elbows, our shoulders, and then obviously our spine all integrated together at the moment. Yeah, we can also argue there's a little bit of legs, okay, but mostly all of the upper body is working at the moment. All right, let's go back to that original side, and this time we're gonna go the opposite direction, okay? So first one we went in. What we're gonna do this time is we're gonna come behind us, bend the elbows, boom, palms are still faced up, bring it inside and then in front, back to that starting position, okay? So it comes behind, in, forward, okay? Now, often with this, what tends to happen is people start to arch their back like this or keep your arms straight. Don't bend at the elbows, boom, right? So we need to understand how to integrate different joints here, okay? The task is still the same. Keep the palms faced up to the ceiling. Okay, so we're using the whole shoulder girdle. We're trying to figure out how that shoulder girdle actually works, okay? Let's take it to the other side. So again, we're going to not come in front, but rather back behind, then in front. Coming to the inside, boom. This is a lot of the shoulders right now, okay? And again, be mindful that there is 2 points where the elbows lock out. Okay, so yes, the elbows bent when we move behind and as we come through, but we want to make sure at 2 given points we have the elbows locked out. Okay, this is just so that we can fully actually get the elbows into play. Okay, because from straightened position, then we need to bend it. Last one, and then rest. Okay. So let the fun start. Okay, so what we're going to do here, guys, is we're going to go for 30 seconds in each directions. Okay, one way, then straight onto the other side. But as we do this, what we're going to do is we're going to have the same side leg up. Okay, so whichever hand that we're moving, the same leg is going to be up off the ground. So this is going to be a little bit tricky. So now we're going to get a bit, a little bit single leg stability, a little bit balance involved. So again, don't go kamikaze, no speed required, no repetition you need to accumulate. Just time to slow and control. Here we go. Okay, bring that leg up. We'll go in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Slow and controlled. Okay, so nothing is really changing. The task is still the same from the upper body, but now we only have 1 base of support as opposed to 2. Okay, we only have 1 leg that is grounding us. This is probably going to be our last rotation, and let's change directions for 30 seconds. Same side. So again, how do you position and how do you use your body? Okay. And last one, and time. Okay, let's shake it off. Okay, we're going to switch sides. We're going to go in 3, 2, same side leg up, and let's start. Remember the palm is face up a little times. This is probably going to be our last one. And then let's swap directions. Slow, controlled. Obviously, it's not the end of the world if you lose balance. But then think about how can you create the right environment in your body for you to be able to execute this task. So take it slow. Try control. This is going to be our last rotation and then a rest. Beautiful job. Okay, jaws can go away. You put your teacups down, quick drink of water if you need to, and then we can get started. Okay, team. So we're gonna try consolidate what we have been working over the last few weeks. Last week we turned the heat up a little bit, which is amazing. So the intention is the same thing. We want to push the body a little bit today. Okay. We're going to start off with a very, very simple straight arm plank, 60 seconds. And effectively, remember you've done your wrist prep. Fingers should be nice and wide because you're increasing surface area. Okay, so you got a nice solid base of support. Shoulders are protracting by wrapping the armpits. So think about hiding the armpits. And then with the lower body, think about tucking the hips a little bit. So you can drop the hips, but tuck the hips. No one needs to kind of see this arch back. Okay, so we're still tucking, but tucking doesn't mean here. Okay, we're not doing this. Let's go for a 60-second hold. Of course, if you can't do this on your toes, you can have, your knees, okay, come into play. We'll go for a minute. We'll go in 4, 3, knee should be off or on, 2, 1, boom. Straight off the bat, feet are together and squeezing your legs together, okay? Try to lift the back of your knees up, tuck the hips, but drop the hips. You're pushing the world away while wrapping the armpits. And most importantly, your eye line is slightly up, okay? So you're looking up slightly just to make sure you got your muscles behind your neck switched on, as opposed to just dropping your head. Okay, so you're not cranking your neck, you're just slightly looking up. And of course, connect everything with your breath. So the more you tuck the hips and drop the hips, you're going to feel this with the front of your body. Okay, the more your weight is evenly distributed, the easier it's going to be on your wrist. And actively push the world away. And time. Beautiful job. Now, from here, we're going to go into our diagonal stretch on the ground. For that, I quickly need to grab a mat. So if you're working on a hard floor, guys, you need something underneath your knees. Okay, so just continuing to build the diagonal stretch from last 4 weeks. Okay, we upped the ante to 10 reaches last week rather than 5. Okay, so a couple of quick breakdowns from front on, 1 knee up, 1 knee down, but we have this front leg, boom, planted on the ground. Okay, and from there, the back leg, this is the side we're kind of really opening up and it's diagonal. We want to go in this direction here. Okay, so my butt is going to be pushing my hips forward and around. This is better seen from side. So let me just kind of show you. Okay, so from here, we're going to have the back leg, back hand on the opposite shoulder. We're going to drive our hips forward, glutes, and then try to touch our hamstring, calf, heels, but we're going forwards and back. Okay, so this should be through the front of our body, as opposed to dumping into the lower back. Okay, the lower back will come into play, or it will get really pissed off if we're not doing the right thing from the glute. Also, where that obviously means we're just arching our back rather than thinking about this at the hips first. Okay, we're going to go 10 reps with a 10-second hold on the last rep. Okay, so if everybody's ready, leg in front to the side, hands up, ready. We're going to drive our hips forward, reach back, touch something, and come to the top for 1. Here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, halfway, 6, 7, 8, 9, here we go. Keep pushing the hip forward, okay, and around. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly forward and boom. Okay, so again, in that 10 seconds, you know, it's not I've arrived, you're continuing refining and working. Okay, here we go. Boom. Set it up. Okay, back leg, back hand onto the opposite shoulder. Here we go. We're going to drive the hips forward, around, touch something, and come back to the start for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. And rest. Okay, so from here, we're going to go back into our plank position, but this time we're going to go into shoulder taps. Okay, we're going to go for 20 reps with a 2 counter 2, not 2 second, but counter 2 pause. I'll do the counting as usual. A couple of things I want to be mindful of here is you want to connect your breath, okay, with the movement. Okay, what I mean by that is the objective of this is not to kind of really move at the hip side to side, or obviously, you know, go forwards and backwards. So just a little reminder, my hands are set. My feet are wide, and they're going to be as wide as they need to be. So from front on, my feet, the wider it is, the bigger the base of support it is. You can see this, okay? So you got, you know, hand, boom, legs. The closer they are, the harder it's going to be. So often what happens is people start to twist. So bring awareness to the body. We want to keep the whole structure still. The only thing that's really moving is the arms, okay? 2 second pause. Oh, sorry, 2 counter 2 pause. Okay, tuck the hips, but drop the hips. Eyeline is up, breathe in, and tap the shoulders. 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 7, 1, 8, push the ground away, 1, 9, 1, 10, that's halfway, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 7, 1, 8, 1, 9, 1, 10, and down. Alrighty, so from here, we're going to go into second set of our diagonal stretch, guys. And as we have been, you got 2 options. You can do what we just did on the knees, and I would probably suggest doing that if you found that a little bit tricky. Okay, it's better to do that variation. Okay, that's a given. But if you have been taking up this and doing them on your feet, you're more than welcome to do this, okay, on your feet. So a couple of things to set up standing up. You can see from front, my toes are turned out. So it's like duck-footed, okay? So I'll do it from the side again. The reason I prefer this way is because when we step back, okay, now my feet are already, okay, in this position, I can push my front leg into the ground. My back knee is going to obviously bend. Back leg is still, okay, back hand is going to come down. Same cues, we're going to reach. Hips are coming, boom, forwards and back. Notice my front leg, obviously the closer it is to me, okay, the easier it becomes. So again, from the side, bear with me. Okay, so, you know, I can generously bend the front leg and reach back. So again, the lower the back knee gets, the more rotation I'll get as well. Okay, traditionally, you know, we can look to keep the front leg straight and then boom, that's a whole different world. So stability is the name of the game. Okay, so for 10 reps, we need to be in a position where we're sturdy from the lower body, and then we're using that spine, okay, and the body angle to create, okay, length. Okay, so when you're ready, boom, I'll go this way. Okay, back leg, hand on the shoulders. Okay, we're gonna push our hips forward and touch our calves or hamstrings, whatever we got accessible. That's 1 coming up, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Okay. So from here, let's get into it. Boom, stepping. Okay, back leg, back hand. hips drive forward. We're going to come around and touch something for 1, facing forward. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh yeah. Okay. Good job. Hopefully that was okay. And we're going to get into the medial work. Okay, so what we're going to do here, guys, as always, we'll take the first set, nice and simple, straightforward, and then we'll just kind of build on top of each other. Okay, so what I want to quickly see happen here is just revisiting that long split. Okay, so remember with this, the intention is to not touch the back knee on the ground. Okay, if you've got really tight hips or ankles, this is normally done on an elevated surface, so it gives you a little bit more accessibility. Okay, so what I mean by that is, I don't know, if you have a book, okay, again, I'm going to use my journal. This is very, very thin. You can have a thicker book. If you're really tight, you can just simply even put your heels on a book. See that it raises the heels up? It's going to allow you to bend at the ankles a lot better. Okay, now if you have silky smooth hips and ankles, then no worries. Okay, so from here, what we're going to do is nice and postured up. Our objective here is to keep the torso as vertical as possible. We're going to drive the front knee forward as we do this. Okay, our objective is to cover the hamstring, the front hamstring, with the calf. So we're trying to drive our knees as far forward as possible. My glutes are working really hard to keep the back leg extended. Okay, so trying to lift the back knee up. My objective then is to push myself down to the ground or pull myself to the ground. So this front hip is in a shortened state, while the back hip is in this lengthened state. Right, so they're doing completely opposite things. And then we're going to drive back up using the front leg. Okay, now a couple of things, guys. If the front knee doesn't do what we wanted to do, okay, so look at the knees or the calves or the hamstring. If I don't kind of cover this area, you still feel a stretch to the back legs, but there's nothing happening from the front leg. This is why the priority is think about the front leg first, and then the back leg will come into play. Yeah, so again, with the front leg, hamstring covering the calf, that's the objective. And as always, your heels can come off the ground ever so slightly in the end range, okay? Not bring them off and then kind of drive them up, right? So they can come off right to the end if you're really tight, pause, and we're gonna drive heels into the ground. Let's get it, 10 reps per side, okay? And again, try to stick to my tempo, okay? If we're ready, nice and tall, we'll slowly come down for the first one, adjust anything that we need to. And then here we go, we're going to come up for 1. Let's go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Boom. Changing legs, keeping the posture nice and big. Notice you're not falling in back in the legs, you're actually pushing up. So balls of your feet nice and proud. Torso tall, let's drive down. Adjust anything that you need to, take a moment, and then ready to drive up for 1. Here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and rest. Okay, so from here, we're going to go into our planche lean for 30 seconds, guys. So planche lean, a reminder, wrist is the limiting factor, so you can turn your hands ever so slightly out a little bit more than your normal plank. This is going to give you more access to the shoulders, okay, or the wrist, sorry, okay? That way you can lean further. But with the lean, again, we don't want to take the piss. We want to make sure we're connected at the shoulders, okay? So if I say to you, your objective is to get as light as possible on the laces of your feet, okay? That's the objective, without losing connection at the shoulders or the midline. So what's going to happen here, just as a reminder, okay, we come up in that plank position. As I'm counting in, part of that count is going to be start to lean. So we start to lean, come onto the laces of our feet, okay? And again, there's no point dumping down and losing the shoulders. We want to push and boom, okay? Legs are squeezed together, butts on and tucked, but dropping the hips towards the ground, okay? 30 seconds. Here we go. Come up and meet me in the plank. Hips are already tucked, spread the shoulders. We're going 3, lean, 1, and here we go. Remember, eyes are up a little bit. Wrap the armpits, legs are firm. Four, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay. Coming up. And then from there, we're going to go into the back of our legs. We're going to go to our B stance Rdls, okay, or good mornings, whichever way you want to look at it. And the B stance normally just implies we're going to favor one side more, okay? So from side view, if I was to work this leg, I'm going to come onto balls of my feet on the opposite leg. From front on, same thing, boom. Now remember what we discussed, okay, last week. If you were here last week, this leg, the supporting leg, we want it to be used in a way that I predominantly bias the working leg. So you can see, this is me evenly distributed, and this is me now prioritizing that working leg. Yeah, so whether it's in front of you, whether it's behind you, whether it's outside you, you're going to predominantly work favoring one side more. That's the premise. The other thing I want to be mindful of is having the working leg, the knees ever so slightly soft. You want to feel this with the belly of the hamstrings, then coming down into the calf, depending on what your structures are like. Okay, so it's going to be anywhere from behind the legs effectively. It should not be on the lower back. Okay, so from here, if we're good, okay, choose a side. Then we're going to place one hand onto the small of our back, the other hand onto the chest, just to give us a little bit of awareness of the spine. And then for 10 reps, here we go. We're going to hinge the hips and then drive up. 1, here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Opposite. One hand on the small of the back, one hand on the chest. And here we go, breath in, and let's hinge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And rest. Okay, so from here, we're going to go into back of the shoulders. Now, We have to be mindful with this one, guys. Okay, again, everybody's structures are slightly different. So please follow the principle and don't try to force yourself aesthetically to certain places. Okay, so the idea here is, or the big idea is to kind of use the stuff in between your shoulder blades in particular. Okay, so as we mentioned, you know, the last couple of weeks, at home, it's very hard to do hanging or pulling type of work. Effectively, that means we're leaving a lot of things in the back, okay, off the table, right? So our objective is to kind of figure out how can we utilize that. So this is what we're going to do, okay? Remember, slight soft knees, hinging at the hips, okay? So meaning I'm not rounding my back like this. That's a big no. Now, if you do want to use the wall, you can just lightly touch the wall with the hips, and you think about the spine being elongated. So if this is the wall, you're like, you know, falling forward. So you can see how the spine is a little bit solid, okay? But this is what we're going to do, okay? I want to relax the shoulders first, make a fist, thumbs pointing forward. And then the cues are going to be this. We're going to slot the shoulder blades back into the pocket first. So there's that depression of the shoulders. And then I'm going to turn my thumbs out. So look at my shoulder joint from the front. As I turn my thumbs out, look what happens to my shoulders. I'm externally rotating them out. Then I'm going to use the stuff between my shoulder blades to lift my arms up. Okay, so again, one more time. Shoulders back, turn, lift. And then slowly downward straight arms and then rest. We're going to repeat that, okay, for 10 reps. Okay, so if everybody's ready, we'll get into it. Remember, tension, like focus on using the upper back to lift the arms up. Okay, here we go. Bend your knees generously. So again, there's nothing on the lower back. Okay, shoulders are relaxed, eyes are gazed up, so neck is not cranked. And shoulders, turn, lift. 1. Shoulders, turn, lift. 2. Shoulders, turn, lift. 3. Shoulders, turn, lift. 4. Shoulders, turn, lift. 5. Shoulders, turn, lift. 6. Shoulders, turn, lift. 7. Shoulders, turn, lift. 8. Shoulders, turn, lift. 9. Shoulders, turn, lift. 10. And rest. Okay. So from here, let's repeat that process again. We're going to get to the front, the long splits again. Guys, if you want to make this a little bit challenging this time around, you can simply just place your hand onto your back like this without forcing your head down, okay? If you have a dowel at home, okay, so if you have something, maybe even a broomstick, okay, but if it's not handy now, don't forget about it. You can just place that on your back too. So the idea is to keep the spine as postured up as possible, okay? But if we're good, let's get into the starting position for the long splits, nice and tall, looking straight ahead. And then let's drive down. We'll take that pause in the first one, adjust anything that you need to, and then drive up for 1. Here we go. 2. Whoa. 3. 4. 5. Make sure you're not dumping into this. You're pulling yourself forward and you're pushing yourself back. 6. 7. Make sure you're controlling it right the way through. 8. 9. 10. And rest. Let's go to the other side. Okay, here we go. Posture, looking up. We're going to drive down. Take your time. Adjust anything that you need to here. When you're ready, drive back up for 1. Here we go. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9, and 10. And finish it off. Okay. From there, into that planche lean, straight into it, guys. 30 seconds. Okay, remember the hips are tucking but dropping. And you're wrapping, you're hiding your armpits, trying to get as light as possible on the laces of your feet. We'll go in 4, 3, start to lean. 1, time starts from here. 2, 1, and rest. Standing up. Let's go to that B Stance Rdl. Choose one side. Smaller hand, or smaller back with one hand, chest with the other, looking straight ahead. And let's do that hinge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Swap sides. Guys, if you want to challenge yourself, get that supporting leg a little bit ahead. That way you're more likely to fall forward. That's going to load the hamstrings up more, okay? But again, there needs to be a rhythm to the work. Hands in place, breath, and hinge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so from here, we're going to go into our shoulders. Okay, guys, remember, okay, it's not just in line. Some of you may be down here. So when we kind of like, imagine I'm bending over with the hands, slot them back in, turn. Some of us may be here. Because if you do this, you're probably going to feel it more in the neck. That's a big no, okay? Also, the back, either you're doing this or you're doing this if you feel in the lower back. So be mindful, bend and use your legs more, okay? Here we go. Position, hands are just hanging, spine is long, neck is long, okay? And shoulders, turn, squeeze. 1. Shoulders, turn, lift. 2. Shoulders, turn, lift. 3. Shoulders, turn, lift. 4. Shoulders, turn, lift. 5. Shoulders, turn, lift. 6. Shoulders, turn, lift. 7. Shoulders, turn, lift. 8. Shoulders, turn, lift. 9. Shoulders, turn, lift. 10. And rest. Let's go straight into the long splits again, whether it be hands behind your head or dowel, whatever you have. Let's pick a variation. Let's set that guy up, posture up. We'll go in 3, 2, 1. Driving forward. Take a pause, adjust anything here. And then let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Swap it up, step back, posture up. And then we're going to drive down when we're ready. Take a pause, adjust anything here, and then drive up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whoops, 8, I saved it, we're safe, 9, 10, and rest. Let's get ready for that planche lean. Again, without sacrificing the shoulders or the hips, we're maximally trying to lean as far forward as possible, okay? Keep things through this region of the shoulders, not this, okay? 30 seconds, guys. Okay, we'll go in. 6, 5, 4, 3. Start to lean. 1, and time starts from here. Again, eyes are gazed up. Tuck the hips. Press into the ground. Wrap the armpits. Legs are firm and long. And time. Okay, straight into our B stance. On our feet. Okay, so as I said to you, okay, you can have your feet a little bit in front, wide, whatever kind of feels good, but try to stay light there. So most of your weight and work is happening from that working leg. Hands in position, eyes gazed up. Breath in and hinge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And let's switch sides. Whatever you feel lengthened at the back, that's what should be driving you forward as well, guys, okay? So whatever's working in the back of the legs, that's actually picking you up as well, okay? So connect that. Hands in place, breath, eyes up, and let's hinge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Shake it off. Shoulders. Last time. Here we go. Okay. Position. Hands. Here we go. Shoulders. Turn. Lift. 1. Shoulders. Turn. Lift. 2. Shoulders. Turn. Squeeze the shoulder blades. 3. Shoulders. Turn. 4. Shoulders. Turn. Squeeze. 5. Shoulders. Turn. Squeeze. 6. Shoulders. Turn. Squeeze. 7. Sorry, that's 8. Shoulders. Turn. This is 8. My bad. Shoulders. Turn. Squeeze. 9. Shoulders. Turn. Squeeze. And 10. And rest. All right, that is it, team. I nearly screwed it up. or maybe I did, I don't know. Okay, forgive me. Bring it in. How are we feeling? How are we doing?
Oh, gosh.
We're alive.
I think the back bend helped the diagonal.
Yeah, it all kind of, they all kind of